What is the magic of Mercury retrograde? What is up, alienARMy? I am Oculus, the alien next door, purveyor of esoteric lore. And on this channel we discuss everything esoteric, occultish, and alien. Today's topic will be no different, and we are going to dive deep into the realm of astrology and Mercury retrograde. So, you might have seen the title of this video and thought, isn't Mercury retrograde supposed to be a time when things are chaotic? Well, yes and no, depending upon the way you look at it. And that's what we are going to be discussing in this video today. How to make Mercury retrograde work for you. If you're familiar with my channel, then you already know that I am not a firm believer in the wiles of Mercury retrograde. We do know that the celestial bodies have some effect upon our astrological psyche and makeup. But what if the preset, pre-programmed beliefs that we have about certain astrological transits are actually precisely the thing that is making them play out accordingly in our physical domain? Well, of course they are. So let me ask you this. What preset programs and belief systems do you have about Mercury retrograde? Now, some common Mercury retrograde misconceptions are, and yes, I did just call them misconceptions, stay with me, are that communication systems begin to go haywire, electronics begin to act up, petty verbal exchanges and misunderstandings tend to take place, and etc. and etc. and etc. Do you personally notice or experience any of these things during a Mercury retrograde? What if I told you that your own preset programming regarding Mercury retrograde was actually at fault for helping you to create that which you were programmed to look out for? Trippy, isn't it? You are an awakened soul, and I know that you know about quantum physics, reality transurfing, and the law of attraction. So, with that being said, could it be in the realm of possibility that the observer of Mercury retrograde is actually creating the outcome that they were programmed to see? This is all fine and dandy when the programming is beneficial. However, most of us familiar with astrology know that Mercury retrograde has a pretty bad rap. The question is, how do we dismantle our existing preset paradigm regarding our belief system about Mercury retrograde? Very simple. We replace it with a positive one. Change your perspective, change your life. Step 1. Think about any current perspectives of belief systems you may have going on currently about Mercury retrograde. Write them down on one half of a sheet of paper. This will be column 1, the past. And listen, negative stigma about Mercury retrograde has a pretty large following, so you might at first doubt what you're attempting to do. But trust and know that simply the act of questioning the old paradigm is a mini paradigm shift in and of itself. Step 2. On your list of current negative beliefs about Mercury retrograde, in the second column, the present, write down the exact opposite of the outdated belief. For example, you may have written down, during Mercury retrograde, electronics tend to act up.
Poor belief right there.
So next to it, you would write down the exact opposite. During Mercury retrograde, I am allowed a second chance to double check the work that I put in electronically. Now, quick personal story. So once upon a time, I was shopping online.
Because why wouldn't I be?
And the site that I was on did not take PayPal, so I had to type in my card details manually. For whatever reason, the card wasn't going through because it said mismatch address or something like that. Now, I was trying this for several times and I was getting pretty livid. So what did I do? I called customer service. Now, when I called in and they were going over the order with me, the representative was repeating my address details and order details back to me just to, see if we were on the same page. And when the representative was going over my order, I realized that I had added the item that I wanted into my cart when I tried to check out, but in the wrong size. So when there's a drop-down menu and you get to select what color, size you want, etc. Well, unbeknownst to me at the time, I mistakenly clicked the half size that was adjacent to the size that I really wanted.
What?
It happens, So, if that minor snafu with the card billing address hadn't happened, then they would have sent me out the wrong size instead of the size that I really wanted. So, moral of story, the electronic delay actually ended up working out in my favor. So it's things like this that you want to focus on while you write down your Mercury retrograde list. Even though the process of ordering my shoes turned into a longer process than I had originally anticipated, it did end up benefiting me and my final outcome of the situation. So, step 3, the fun part. Affirming to yourself the positive characteristics of Mercury retrograde. Mercury retrograde allows the mind to take a breather and to relax and recharge for a bit. Think of this time as 4 of Swords energy. The guy that's just kind of laying, chilling out, and the swords are above him and everyone's just chilling peacefully. Where the individual is content in taking a break from his thoughts for the time being. Know that Mercury retrograde can help you to take a step back to observe your thoughts from a third-person perspective, therefore helping you to view your thoughts about a specific situation from a neutral, not personal point of view. Mercury retrograde can also be the bearer of much-needed closure from someone you had dealings with from the past. Or Mercury retrograde just might be the messenger of someone from your past who you wish to have contact with again. Since Mercury rules communication and the retrograde motion is in some essence a return to the past, you may end up gaining the final piece of the puzzle about a situation that may have been in the back of your mind. Another positive trait of Mercury retrograde is, as I mentioned earlier, a chance to redo something you are intending to send out electronically. It may be a snafu in placing an online order, which then allows you to change the order you placed, but it can also be a nudge to rethink your message before you press send. How many times has that saved us? Anyway, you can see how Mercury retrograde actually helps out in preventing a potential problem before it even has the chance to get off the ground. As Mercury governs the mind and is intuitively inclined towards our day-to-day communication with others, sometimes he knows best about what conversations will serve us and those that will not. If Mercury is guiding you away from certain conversations, then know that sometimes some things are better off left unsaid. The period of Mercury retrograde is the time to relinquish our grip on our thoughts and allow the universe to guide us. It is a time for mental rest and rejuvenation, which in the act of letting go, actually brings about the clarity we were seeking all along. Mercury retrograde can be a time of magical manifestations for us if we choose to let it. And we choose to let it. by quieting our mind, relieving ourselves from personalizing our thoughts, by rereading what we just wrote to see if we actually want to send it or not. And finally, by knowing that a minor, momentary inconvenience is saving us from a potentially greater failure down the road. And this, friends, is the magic of Mercury retrograde. I am Oculus, the alien next door, and we will chit chat again soon.